Колеги, доброго ранку.
Good morning, dear colleagues. We are going to start our work in our UCMC. The floor is given to the head of the state public regulation on the financial security services in markets. We are going to talk about the situation of financial markets and the ways of the regulation. Later, we are going to be joined by a member commission for regulation of financial market, Mr. Denis Yastreb. Now the floor is given to Ihor. Pashko. Dear journalists, thank you for coming here today for this said briefing. I'm going to briefly inform you what the National Committee did over the last 9 months of our work and also about the plans which we actually set ourselves for the future. In our work, Denis Yastreb will join us later. He is responsible for the work with the problematic companies, with the complaints and claims of the customers, for the work coming from with the complaints coming from the bank insurance companies, and again some other topical issues for our market of banking financial services. To start with, I would like to give you a brief review of the situation for the first half year in the banking and financial market, taking the example of the insurance market, because this is the largest market under the regulation of our commission. The figures speak of the following. All those figures we obtained the result of the analysis of financial statements, which we received from the insurance companies, based on the results of the activities for the first 6 months. Insurance premiums increased by 20% against the same period of last year, 22 billion. The net insurance premium, they amount to 10.8 billion. Insurance payments grew by 27% and amounted to 3.1 billion. And the net insurance payments amounted to 3 billion. Next index is very important financial reliability of the market. The growth of the reserves and their total amount 16.2 billion hryvnia. So speaking in principle, if we take very figures, we can see the growth. But when we made a deep going analysis and also compared them with the results of the inflation rate, the picture is not that positive, not that gratifying, in particular in such important segment as Pashko. This is mandatory insurance against the responsibility of third persons. Now this 31% in the insurance company portfolio, and so the decrease was 10%. The Pashko market is not so sensitive, but even this market shows some decreased figure. If you take the Pashko market, which is 25% of the portfolio, the drop is more than 36%. What we see today that the situation remains very complex, very complicated, but we can observe certain stabilization of the situation. There is no abrupt deterioration, and we hope that in the second half of this year, and especially next year, we will see good growth at the banking financial market. The reasons influences the situation are quite understandable. Number one, the domestic market problems, a low level of reservation, lack of poor quality of the assets, and the low payment discipline, and as a result, the distrust on the part of the consumers or customers. We try to fight all those problems as best we can. Outside or external reasons for that. First of all, occupation of the territory of the Crimea and Lugansk and Donetsk region, where in the banking financial institutes, we still had a lot of assets. This is a problem. The banking market, those two non-banking and banking markets are closely linked to each other. According to our estimation, the insurance companies have about 1.5 billion hryvnia blocked. We are talking about insolvent banks, which could be used. I mean, those money to pay the insurance liabilities or obligations, or to channel to some other useful things, but they can do anything about that. Another problem is the drop in the business activity, which had a negative effect on our situation. Nevertheless, we believe that this market has a huge potential. Just one figure, 9.6 GDP of the country. This is the volume of the market, and it has a rather considerable potential. And we determined its further development is the concept of development of the market of banking and financial services. It was adopted by the Commission in March. I believe you know that we had the National Council reforms headed by the President of Ukraine. They adopted a comprehensive program for the development of the financial market for 2015-2020. This comprehensive program determines the major directions or trends along which we are going to reform the whole financial system. Mostly I'm going to talk about some of the aspects related to non-banking financial market. First of all, protection of the assets of the non-banking financial organizations. We are talking about non-public pension funds. This is companies with life insurance. They create the loan associations, unions, and the insurers. We have some progress. We are talking about insurers, but I'm going to talk about that later. The second direction of reform in this pension support. We are talking about non-public pension funds, the change of this system of the management of the non-public pension funds, introduction of the second level of the pension system. The leading here is the Minister of Social Policy, but since we are responsible for the non-public pension funds, of course, we participate actively also in this work, and we are assisted by the experts of the OECD. In the next direction, which is going to be reformed, the credit union and leasing companies. The credit unions today, their size is not that big. Their total assets about 2.6 billion hryvnia, so as compared to the rest of the market, this is not too much, but this market has a huge social importance, especially in the western parts of Ukraine. So the mentality of the population, sometimes the trust to this is hard to the bank system. We cannot but pay attention to that. We plan to reform this market to ensure its more stability and reliability, higher stability and reliability. We had some of the meetings. We involved some external experts from abroad based on the Verkhovna Rada committee. Yesterday we had a round table dedicated to this issue. Leasing companies, why we took this kind of direction of the work, because in our opinion, leasing is a very serious alternative to credit, and especially we're talking about purchasing of equipment which is badly needed for the modernization of our technological fleet of the country. We are talking about equipment, we are talking about agricultural machinery, we are talking about the transportation vehicles, etc. All those things could be purchased through leasing, not only based on the credits or loans. Next what we are going to reorganize or restructure, agency and the non-banking financial institutions market. The major attention will be paid to responsibility. Today, the situation available, which you know, you can see yourselves when you enter along the road, we have a lot of cars with the inscriptions. We sell the Saka policy, but they are not responsible for their. They are not responsible for their obligations or liabilities. We are going to change the situation. The company of this agency is going to take the responsibility. We're talking about the insurance policy, then the insurance company, or the credit union, if this was a representative of the credit union. So if you're talking about the insurance company, this is already fixed in the new draft law on insurance, which unfortunately hasn't been considered by the Rada in the first reading. But what is important that Ukraine undertook the commitment to bring the work with the agents or the intermediary agents or agency according to the international standards. So in the association agreement between the EU and Ukraine, this is also included there, again, insurance market, which we're going to do a lot about. We have our ambitious target Solvency II program introduction. This is a program, for example, in banks. This Basel program in Solvency II. They increased the requirements for the reliability of the insurance companies. This is a very hard work, difficult work, because this requires reorganization of the whole market. I believe we are going to work until the year 2020, the most optimistic, let's say, forecast. Then life insurance. This requires special attention. There's a huge social component here, number one. Number two, according to the pension reform, in 3 years from now, the life insurance must be included in the pension support system. For the economy, this is generated the source of the long-term resources, which is better required by our economy. Now, first of all, we have to increase the reliability. We plan to create an individual fund for guaranteeing the deposits and deposits of natural persons, which exists for the banks now. In addition to that, we still think how to adjust this system, how to create this system, actually. In the insurance, a separate direction is the reformation or reform of the Asada market. I already mentioned that this market share is about 31% of the insurers' portfolio. This is the market of the mandatory insurance. So here we have the responsibility of the state, of the government for this market, and we believe that it has to be brought in compliance with the European standards. We work continuously. Yesterday we had another round table with the participation of insurers, Organization for the Consumers' Right Protection, representatives of the Verkhovna Rada, the Motor Transport Bureau, and we were discussing how to do something about that. And the major amendments which are going to be introduced into the SADA law are the follows: on the introduction of electronic policy. I believe doesn't need special advertisement because it means cheaper than attitude and control, and the possibility to obtain this policy by people in the street, so to say, and then the special control. This will be specifically clearly seen in the electronic format. Now, the second one, the company which insured based on the Asada policy, they are going to make for the fact payments. The third direction, which is very important for the consumer, the increasing of the payments for demand and bringing them closer to the European standards. 5 million standards according to the Europe standard. This is a huge sum of money. We understand that we won't be able to introduce that sum overnight, but we plan stage by stage introduction of this limit. Next direction, SAGOR, the corporate management, which of course requires serious amendments to be or change to be made. And this is very briefly what we plan to do. One more thing which I would like to touch upon, which is very often dwelled by the mass media or by the experts. I'm talking about the rehabilitation of the non-banking financial market. They give an example of the banking market, you know, that 52 banks have been removed from the banking system. Unfortunately, in the non-banking market, they do not have the mechanisms which are available in the banking system. First of all, we do not have the fund for guaranteeing the deposits, so the National Bank recalls the license and give the debts of the bank to this fund. We do not have those tools or instruments. The only tool we have today, just to deprive somebody of the license or call back the license. So some figures. From the since the beginning of the year, we canceled 434 licenses. Just to say that today the market they registered 326 companies. Practically, it touched every second company because every second company because some of the companies have several licenses. They temporarily suspended the operation or the license of some of the insurance companies, and as compared to the same period of last year, 26 insurers were removed from the registers. So they have been removed from the market altogether. In order to rehabilitate, I'm talking about the rehabilitation of the market, we try to create today the mechanism or a mechanism which includes several stages. Stage 1 or phase 1 we already have drawn up, and now we have the regulations on the mandatory criteria on the sufficient diversification of the assets of the insurance companies. This document is being considered by the Ministry of Justice and other financial, some of the financial institutions, and it's very. I mean, it's not an easy way, but we believe by the end of the October this will be affected. So if those regulations were effective, 133 companies would meet those requirements, so we could apply to them the second stage of clearance. The effect measures for some period of time. They will give some time to bring their activities to meet the new requirements. They have been strengthened from the point of view liquidity, reliability. We are talking about AA deposits, or let's say deposits in the governmental securities, etc., etc. So those 130 insurers would not meet those requirements. So yeah, if we are talking about those, we'll give some time to them to bring everything to order, and then we'll recall or take back their license. This third stage, which we already declared that the Verkhovna Rada Committee, which we plan to do, to remove from the market such insurers who were going to take back the license. The right of initiation, please be attentive. The initiation of bankruptcy, because in Germany they have such mechanisms. We know there is such a BaFin organization in Germany which deals with the control over financial market. The BaFin, this is the only agency or body which can initiate bankruptcy of non-banking financial institute. Unfortunately, in Ukraine, the Financial Services Committee doesn't have this right, so we would like to introduce some amendments on the law on financial service and banking. When the whole complex or set of those things will be worked on, then we could start to talk about the complete set of necessary tools in the rehabilitation of the torque. Now, the fund of the guarantee fund, we plan to create or set up this fund for life insurance, for non-public pension fund, and in the insurance unions. I don't know. I cannot give you complete details, but according to our target plans, we plan for March next year to drop the draft law on life insurance. As for the other things, we are going to apply the same approach. In just a few words regarding the consumers' rights protection. there is quite impressive progress as compared to the same period last year. Last year, the complaints 8,300. This year, twice, 360, so twice as less. In the same sum of money, 37 million hryvnia were returned to those who suffered this bankruptcy. We're talking about the insurers or the credit companies. I'm talking about the whole market. We changed the system of considering the complaints or claims in total periods starting from the date of submission of the application or the claim up to the correction by the subject of surveillance, correction of their, let's say, bad mistakes or failure to pay. So we have twice this short period of for this task. And the average period has been decreased by 30 days. I'm talking about consideration of the claims and complaints. We apply the same approach to all the markets, irrespective whether this insurance market or pension or in the credit market. We have the same approach to consideration of the complaints and claims by the Commission. The next component, which we believe to be very important, we introduced the site, National Committee of the Financial Services. We actually put there all the measures we plan as related to the participants of our market. Why we do so? So the markets of the clients, the customers, and ordinary people could see which company is worth of dealing with, and against which company there are some problems, and they should be careful in dealing with those companies. Also in August, which we revealed a huge block where after the half a year reporting period, we saw the huge payables. We are talking about the insurance we have to pay on insurance cases. The sum of 15 insurance company amounted total sum 15,879,000 hryvnia. Those money were not paid to the citizens. We're talking about the years 2012, 13. So this is a long story of the payables, credit indebtedness. Over this period, we returned to the people 5.8 millions something, and we actually about 10 million remained to be paid, and we hope to do that by the end of this year. The issue of deregulation, which is really very topical in our agenda, very urgent. The first what we did, there were a lot of complaints on the part of the foreign reinsuring companies regarding the procedure for registration of the insurance contracts. We checked this procedure. Today we have some kind of accreditation of foreign insurers, and then all the contracts are registered according to the application principle. So we simplified completely this procedure. Regarding the issuance of license, today the committee takes decision on issuing license. It takes us about 10 days. Previously it was 30 days. Cancellation of issuing 10 days before that 30 days. So 3 working days against the 30 days before. We are talking about the investigation of the license, and now the cancellation of license 5 days as compared to the previous period 30 days. Separately, I already mentioned that this is the problem. Those who follow the situation in our market, MTSBU, the Coordination Council today, since July 20 this year, the functions of coordinating council were given to the National Committee of Financial Services. So we remain the commission, but also we also take care of the functions of the coordination council in this bureau. We had 2 meetings already. During the first meeting, we informed the Transportation Bureau about our approaches, how we're going to carry out this work. Number one, strengthening of the guaranteeing functions, which is unfortunately today is not sufficiently developed by the Motor Transport Bureau, and it has a special importance or significance because this is a mandatory kind of insurance and a socially important kind of insurance which is related to every citizen and those who have the cars. And then the absolutely strict adherence to the legislation in all aspects. During the second meeting, we heard the report of the directorate of the management about the work carried out during the first 6 months. Also, we had a meeting with the auditors, and we are expecting the auditing the conclusions regarding the financial statement. Also, we asked them to carry out the in-depth analysis of this procedure available to the Motor Transport Bureau in order to sit together with them where it can improve the situation or perfect all those mechanisms. So this is briefly the information we plan to share with you. Thank you. Now, question and answer question. Any comment on the part of Denis? So please introduce yourself. Bogdan Kostyuk, Radio Liberty. Mr. Pashko, 2 questions. The first to you, the second I don't know. You mentioned that in the temporarily occupied territory of Ukraine, there is a certain amount of the resources left. How critical was their temporary absence? And the second question regarding the life insurance. To which extent we already work out the procedure for paying the life insurance to the families of those killed in actions or wounded persons? Do you cooperate with the Minister of Defense or somebody else? Okay, answering your first question. Unfortunately, to determine the amount of the assets which remain on the occupied territory, unfortunately, we cannot do that. What I can say, once in every 3 meetings our commission will consider the cases related to those problems which are associated with the occupied territory. This calls for a number of the companies which were specialized or worked on those territories. So the effect was quite serious. You know, we lost the market, which is very important to our economy. We lost the assets themselves, but I cannot give you the exact figure today. I believe that based on the results of this year, maybe we'll have this figure. We're going to make it public. As regards to your second question, life insurance related question, my answer would be as follows. Well, there are two different things. There's life insurance life or the vocational professional life insurance. Yeah, sure. We work together with Ministry of Defense and the MPs. There's a certain progress we made working with MPs. So we are when I'm talking about the life insurance, we are talking about the life insurance company. That's what I meant. Any more questions or clarifications? Again, please introduce yourself. Good morning, Interfax Ukraine, Liliana Chinich. They actively verify the insurance companies today. Can you say, give a preliminary assessment of the state of the market, how it could be decreased in the future? What are the most frequent violations of the regulations and the activities of the company? Yesterday we had a specific committee of the help you. The second question was kind of very specific. That was a closed meeting. Why closed? Because we heard the report. The item number 1 on agenda, and and then the voluntary contribution one. Where we would like to work out with the Motor Transportation Bureau the common approaches which we're going to use in our work. So those two items that were in the agenda, we heard the report of the management for the work done over the first half of this year, and then the issue regarding the procedure for the voluntary contributions one, and we agree that the information which we received from the management, we are going to analyze that information. I believe that the next meeting will be held in about 2 weeks from now. So if the meeting previously had a meeting once a quarter, but now we plan to meet twice a month, every with a period of 2 weeks in between. So now we have a very good, or we start to establish a very good dialogue with the management of the directors of the Motor Transportation Bureau. As there are some problems, I believe those problems are related to such issue as the confidence or trust, I would say. I believe as time passes and when we will be, we know what is what, we will be able to resolve this problem as well. Well, I'd like to say that all those are temporary things we have to understand it. Actually, this was the first time ever in the history when our commission actually carries out the function of the Verkhovna Rada, and I believe that together with Motor Transportation Bureau, we will be able to introduce the amendments in the draft law, or the amendments introduced in the law on the saga, and then we'll give back this, they'll get this function back. I'm sorry, what was your another question? Regarding the verification of insurance companies, I believe Denis, who is responsible for this work, will answer your question. Denis, please. Good morning to everybody. Regarding the verifications or inspections, I would say. This is the second quarter when we have such inspections. We partially lifted some of the moratoria, and we adopted a plan. We included the company for the verification, which
Вот этих компаний за 2014 год превысил 20 миллионов, и последние 5 лет проверки не проводились. Это два критерия, по которым отбирались компании. Были изменены подходы к проведению проверок. Мы начали, если можно так сказать, опытную эксплуатацию универсальных актов проверок, четко определили направления, то есть они 3 основных. Это соответствие законодательству наших участников рынка, это их финансовое состояние.
We are talking about the financial status and the work with the clients. Speaking about the scheduled verification inspection, we have to analyze very global, big problems like systematic violations, or as based on the results of verification inspections, which you could see on our website. We can see indeed this
становятся другими, скажем так, да, то есть более глобальными. Мы не обращаем там внимания на мелочи, скажем так.
Not pay attention to some of the violations, some of the contracts 1 or 2, so we try to work, let's say, in more deep-going level. As regards the results, systematic results, it's too early to speak about that, since we took care of about 20 inspections or verifications, so very difficult to judge what is what. Additionally, we plan the analysis to take care of the analysis violations. We have some of the information on our site regarding some inordinary violations, and we plan to continue this effort. Regarding the number of the companies, as I mentioned already, there is a new procedure, no requirements for the assets in the reserve. Some of the companies have not met those requirements, so those are the first candidates for us to have a closer look at. So we have, let's say, we have 2 options. So you have to bring everything to order, or. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of our press conference. Wish you every success and see you next time. Our next press conference at 11:30. We are going to have a Skype connection with the civil military